Nice to meet you. Good to see you. Where did we sit here?
I left a spot up top for you. Bob, at the end.
I think, yeah, I think somebody's, yes.
Oh,
You gotta-
the village board has us down here now.
Well, we have less than a full dais tonight, so you
Okay.
can, Brittany set you up for up here.
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. From, I had it.
You need the password, Jack?
Code from two.
It's, do you need the password, Jack?
Yep.
I don't know where you're shaking your head. I'm looking at you from the side. Courtroom, capital C, 10543.
Yes.
Is Mr. Okay.
We need one more for a quorum, and he's coming.
This is the.
Tammy did tell you she's
this
coming, right?
network is called yes.
Yeah, she wrote back and said she is.
Okay,
Oh,
all right.
Hi, John, how are you?
Quorum, we can, I'm getting the feeling that people are here for the dog park. We can take this and we can take this out of agenda order if we want. That seems to help with everybody's best interest.
yeah, I'm all for the dog parks. It's
Yeah.
fine. That's weird. Yeah.
We don't have it up there.
Here. Oh, I see.
That's the one. And now you put the password, which is the.
Courtroom
Capital,
105.
courtroom.
Oh, we're so smart.
We have examples of their 6-foot fencing in the Harbor Island. Where we left it, last time we saw the dog park, we wanted information about two things. The only two concerns we really had. One was the reason for and effect of the concrete pad, how much impervious surface it created, et cetera. For stormwater issues. It's not a major concern, but we felt like the record wasn't complete if we didn't know where it was and how big it was. The other was because view shed focuses on that which is visible from Harbor Island Park. We wanted to know where the fence would be and what it would look like. We still don't have visual detail of the fence, but we don't we try to differentiate between interpreting view shed as size and scale and sitting as a style council. We're not artists, we're not architects. We determine whether something is in keeping with the general scope and scale that people expect in the visual resources village. So
Are you,
back again, you remember all the stuff we used to say.
are you listening, hearing that tonight? Are you gonna consider the dog park referral tonight?
It's on, first of all, it's on as an administrative item,
Oh,
and we are free to hear administrative items on work sessions. Just some of this is morphed a little bit since you sat with us regularly. I think last time I saw you, we didn't even do work sessions separate from the
Right,
meetings.
I was surprised, to be honest.
We
there was
took them there, we got
very
down to
hardworking.
the administrative items that we started doing administrative items separately on work sessions. And then we started covering the completeness of applications, but only applicants not here. We talk among ourselves about what information we need, what's missing from the packet. If there's anything the applicant should be expected to address, they're welcome to listen and then show up ready to answer questions. We find it speeds things along. But
Okay.
we deal with applicant issues only as
I was using Firefox.
what we need to know to get a complete record. We deal with administrative items fully at work sessions. However, because of the nature of dog park, speaking from my own view,
What is maybe different password?
public
Not the Wi-Fi.
very excited about it and on both sides. And I think we want to give them the opportunity to be heard before we advise trustees on consistency. We have a meeting in 8 days, so we'll talk about it, but we'll open it for public comment, hear them out, and then finalize our advisory letter. I think.
I met,
No, we don't know Bob
yeah, Bob
Spolzino.
Spolzino,
Tobias.
village attorney, nice to meet you.
Yes, I'm Tammy.
So, Tom, as I mentioned, I'm surprised, the referral was last night, last night, the night before.
I know. When it's village business, we bend over backwards to provide as much expedition as we can. You know, the policies are the policies, we think about them the way we think about them, but in terms of procedurally moving it, we get right to it.
Good.
And if we talk about it tonight, we'll be ready to open it for public, close it for public, finalize our advice, and get it to the trustees right away after the meeting.
So tonight you'll talk about what you need in order to make a decision.
Right. Okay, and because I know people are here, at least a few people are here mostly for that. And once we're done with that, you can leave. If nobody objects, we're gonna open it. We're gonna take it out of order. We'll do the dog park first. Okay, great. Brittany, we have a quorum. Let's go on the record.
Okay, is LMC good?
Good.
Thank you. You're all set.
And we're on?
Yep.
Welcome, everybody, to the January 10, 2023 meeting of Harbor and Coastal Zone Management Commission. This is a work session and not a public meeting, which means the applicants are generally not present. We deal with applicant items for the completeness of the application in preparation for our meeting next Wednesday. And we have an administrative item on tonight. For the people here in person, the exits are at either side of the room, but I think everybody here already knows that. And if you're watching at home, thank you for caring enough about village affairs to watch how we do what we do. We have an agenda, and the administrative items are usually last, but I think because there are several people here only for the administrative item, I think we have a consensus that we're going to take that first. So we're going to take up the Harbor Island Dog Park. We have received a referral on a resolution from the trustees. The trustees are now the applicant on the Harbor Island Dog Park. We received the referral yesterday, but we want to move village matters as quickly as we're able. We'll do what we can to keep the pipeline flowing smoothly for that purpose. So we received it yesterday. It's on today.
Oh, right,
but,
right. Thank you.
Speaking for myself, I think that it needs, it's had a fair amount of public comment, and that our consistency advice to the trustees should likewise take into account public comment. People feel strongly about it. And we have a meeting scheduled, our regularly scheduled meeting next Wednesday, the 18th. I am going to move that we put it on the agenda for public comment and to finalize our consistency recommendation at our 118 meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yep.
Aye.
Okay, so it will be on for public comment, but we can talk about it now so that the village, the public, and everybody else knows what we expect to talk about. This came before us once before, and we looked at it. We went through our policies, and at the time, we thought that the application wasn't complete enough for us to conclude our discussions in two respects. One is we had not seen the location or the visual of the fence. And the other was that we didn't know the location or size or the reason for the need for the concrete pad. I think we have a fair amount more information about that now than we did then. The materials that were given to us just yesterday, which obviously we haven't had a lot of time with, include a contract with for the fence, and it includes more detailed, not complete site plan, but more detailed schematics for where everything goes. So the maps are helpful in that regard, and with an application that had more issues present, we might need a site plan. Speaking for myself, I don't think we do. We told the village that we needed to see where the fence would go and where the concrete pad would be. And we can now see that. So speaking for myself, I think I know what I need to know about that, though I also think we need to hear from the public. Having reviewed the material, I know that we still don't, we have the size of the fence. We haven't seen what it looks like. This is a view shed concern. Policy 25, which is our view shed policy, specifies that things that are visible from Harbor Island are specifically within the ambit of view shed. We've said before, and we'll say again, that we don't act as architects or as artists to determine whether we like or don't like the visual appearance of something. We determine whether it's out of character, whether the size or the scale of it are different than what we think the residents expect to be protected in the view shed policy. I will tell you that a 6 foot high fence was a little taller than I expected. I want to think about that when we talk about that on the 18th. I think it would be helpful if the village could tell us where there are other fences of that height in Harbor Island to just sort of help scale it. That would be useful information to know. If we can say, having considered it, it's not out of character with the other fences. And we've all spent plenty of time at Harbor Island Park, but I like to try to just do this stuff from memory. The village has spent a lot of time planning this thing. They should be able to provide us that information. We'll hear what the public thinks about it. We also expressed a concern about the location of the concrete pad and why it was necessary. It's not that many square feet. We're always a little cautious about adding impervious surface anywhere because, as we've said so many times, 32 square miles of village of drainage basin drain into the Sheldrake Brook and the Mamaroneck River, which all drain into our harbor. Those unavoidable facts of geography are why we have some of the reason we have the flooding problems we do. So we're always cautious about adding impervious surface. That said, I think we're only talking a few hundred square feet. So we'll advise on that. It's not that much. It's surrounded by ground that is pervious surface. But we did want to see where it was and talk to the village about why it's necessary. So I think we've got more information there, and we can complete our deliberations on that on the meeting at the 18th. Those are the things that we had previously identified. We now have a more complete record than we did on those things. I think it would help me to have what I said, know that since the fence is higher than I think we anticipated, know where there are other similar size, similar scale fences in or around Harbor Island. That would be helpful. That's the only thing I can identify that I need as further record to complete our deliberations on this project. But I'm going to hand it over to other commissioners. Cammie?
Yeah, I just agree with what you're saying. I think that a lot of my questions are just regarding the fence as to why it would be 6 feet. And I didn't even think about other fences in Harbor Island Park. So that.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that we've got, that there's probably some thinking about needing 6 feet to keep some of the larger and more athletic dogs from jumping over it. And I don't question the wisdom of that. But we have a view shed. I don't mean to talk over you.
No, totally fine.
We do have a view shed policy. It's taller than we had envisioned, and being able to say that that's in scale with some other things is helpful, so that we can say that we've touched all our bases on our policies. But I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's totally fine. Yeah, I think that's really just my concern is regarding how out of character the fence is going to be with its size and compared to the other fences in the park. I can't recall any other fences that are that high, but I think that would be something that could be addressed in the public hearing. So, and then I would say, I agree with you regarding the concrete pad, because it was a little bit concerning and it seems that it's a lot smaller than we anticipated. Yeah, that was,
It's not that big, and I expect that if you don't do that at the entrance to a dog park, you're gonna get, that area is gonna get pounded and scrubbed flat. It's gonna be hard compacted bare dirt.
Yeah.
I can see why you almost
Yeah.
have to do something at the entrance and exit. It's just a matter of whether that, having it be an impervious surface is the best idea. But given that it's so small and surrounded by other pervious surface, that really tones down the level at which we think that's a concern, or at least that I think that's a concern. George, other issues?
Not really issues, some thoughts on this one. When I looked at this one, I tried to understand why we're being asked to comment on this one and what is the best approach for commenting and being positive in this whole situation. So I approach it from the fact that for consistency review, we just need to ask the same questions we ask for anything else, any other application. So I understand that in this commission, we always assess the cost and the impact of something happening, of an action. We never assess the cost of an inaction, if you see what I mean. And one of the things that we should be looking at is also the fact that the Harbor Island is an area that is supposed to enhance the socio-economical life of level of life of the people in the area. So this is one thing that I want to put aside. Now, coming into the dog park, I was trying to think, the first thing that struck me was the cement area. And I cannot understand why we need to have this cement foyer or entrance, increasing the impervious surface in this dog park. I understand that by having some dogs and some people moving in that because of high traffic, you may be causing some wear and tear and damage to the lawn. But I don't think the impact is bigger than having two soccer teams playing soccer nearby. So in that sense, all things being equal, I don't really see it as much of a concern. What I'd like to know, number one, is positive for me, the fact that the town is doing something for a big area of the villagers that would need to train their pets somewhere, and they want to comply with the law. So this one being aside is not something that we are assessing here, in this commission. This being aside, I completely agree with what you mentioned about the fence. Yes, it needs to be in line with the rest of the environment. Yes, it needs to look good. I would love to see the lawn being maintained and not see yet another cement and concrete structure. So this is the only area that I'd like to understand to what extent are we going to see some changes in because of concrete in that sort of area. That's the only thing for me.
And Jack?
I'm good. Could you just tell me whether or not I'm looking at a rectangular or a square?
Both.
You're looking at a rectangle and a square. It's an L shape. What I'm looking at is an L shape, and it's an L-shaped pad that comes up to the fence, and then a larger, almost square area just inside the fence. If I'm reading this plan right.
So the two spaces are doors or gates. What are you've got the green outlines.
fence?
Shrubbery.
Okay.
Shrubbery to sort of demask the visual appearance of the fence, which goes into the view shed concern. The more that the shrubs cause it to sort of be in line with, be less visually obtrusive, the more it reduces the concern that's at a scale.
All right.
So What is the shrubbery inside the box?
Well, we've got our village manager. You can, if it might speak, if you want to come up, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, if you're just here to hear what we say, but if you want to come up, my intention, so you know, because you have responsibility for getting this thing across the finish line. My intention is to move our advisory process as quickly as possible. So I want to get somebody the job of starting to draft our letter now, so that we have it basically done for our meeting Wednesday. Unless we change something in response to public comment, so we can hear what the public has to say, which I really feel like we should do, and then finish it up, have it done, and get it back in front of the trustees as quickly as possible.
Okay, that's great.
So you've had a chance to hear sort of the narrow set of things we're concerned about. I'm looking at shrubs where they're marked on this schematic. I see, if you walk us through those two breaks, if they're gates, and the concrete pad and the reason why that's necessary, that'd be really helpful.
So I'd like to stay up at the mic. I don't know if AJ has the wireless. You have the wireless available?
Wireless is on the table over here. I heard you better from the demo. All right. Well, Stan, I gotta move around on the thing. First of all, thank you. So for the people who are watching, my name is Jerry Barberi. I'm the village manager, and I really appreciate the board getting this item as an administrative consideration at the last minute. So there's existing parking here. This is behind the sewer plant. The concrete pad is represented in that white light gray box, but that's somewhat out of scale, right in there. So the idea is to create a small washdown area for the dogs and their muddy feet, okay? But also as a way to maybe track some of the dirt off of their paws as they go into the parking lot and then into the owner's vehicles. These green boxes are shrubbery. There's a break. There's no gate there. It's just a break in the visual for people to look in and see. So that is proposed. It may or may not be there. All of the shrubs will be maintained at a 4-foot level. The fence is 6 foot. I have provided Brittany some pictures of a 6-foot fence at a dog park with a washdown area and a small pad. She could provide them to you either tonight or at the meeting. The thinner green box rectangle is to separate the small dog park, which is this, from the larger dog park.
There
So
you
they're
go.
not
I
at
knew
each
there
other
was
at
some
the gate
clever
fence.
thought. Got it.
So that was the idea there. And the reality is that these two sections would be completely separate. So if an owner of a small dog would be able to access a small dog park without interfering with the larger dogs, that there would be a gate where you would split and go that way and that way. And there's also a vestibule. So there would be a vestibule. The vestibule would be a smaller area, maybe 6 by 6. That would be the concrete pad, a 6 by 6 concrete pad vestibule. So you enter the vestibule, you close the gate behind you, you have a gate in front of you, you enter the gate. This way, there's no chance for any other dog to come out. You always have a gate in between you and the parking lot or the rest of the park.
Okay, and you said it's a wash area. Is there going to be like a shower or faucet there?
Yeah, a faucet, a frost-free faucet.
Okay,
Do you want me to pull up the example of the fence?
that would be helpful, but
Yes.
hang on a sec. I just, that's a new element I hadn't thought about. If we're adding an outdoor faucet there, it'd be helpful if we knew, if we had an estimate of gallon per hour flow, because at some level it would become a problem.
We could provide that.
That'd be great. I mean, obviously, like if it were running all day, every day, it'd be enough water to create erosion problems. Though not flooding problems in that location because it's so flat, but it would be enough to cause erosion problems. I'm sure that's not the case. It'd help to have, like a thumbnail estimate of how much water we would expect at peak usage so that we know that we're not approving something that we are being stupid about.
Sure, so a frost-free hydrant would be something that people would be able to access, but the water would pulse for 20 seconds at a time. And it would be connected to our irrigation system, not necessarily a hard line from the street. So there would not be water access in the wintertime. Although it's a frost-free hydrant and the connection is 3 feet deep, below the frost line, we still would not provide water during the winter months. So there's a limitation to that. But we would hope that the pulse of 20 seconds or so would be enough to kind of wash off the dog enough so that we can get the dog back into the car and back home. That's really what we're looking for. Many times, because the park will be dry or the conditions will be dry, they won't even need to use that because in fact, they'll exacerbate the problem and make mud because, the dog's paws will be dry. So it's really just during usage of the park after inclement weather where there is some grass and some mud and some dirt and debris that gets onto the dog's paws. So we'll be able to give you that calculation, Chairman, and provide how many estimated dogs we have plus the 20 seconds and give you gallons per day or something along those lines.
That's exactly what I had in mind. That's very helpful. Brittany, you said you could bring up a visual.
Yeah, I have a picture of an example of the fence. Hold on one second.
Right. So this is the picture of a dog park that I built several years ago. So this is the frost-free, and this is really the only pad that we had. This would be a larger pad, and this is a vestibule area. So this is the small dog park vestibule, and you can see that it's not a large area at all. Okay, so there's 2 vestibules side by side here. Britt, do you have any of the other photographs that I sent you?
Yep.
Is that the hose there, right in the front of the sign?
This,
Yeah,
that's the hydrant that would pulse.
okay.
So we put this on a 20-second timer where once you bring the handle up, you're only going to get 20 seconds of water.
Okay.
Right. So this is a 6-foot high fence in a formerly wooded area. So you can see that it's pretty easy to see through it because it's a chain link. It's a vinyl coated chain link fence. The idea of the shrubs, I think, is only important for enclosing the small dog park and not the large dog park, obviously, because what we want to do is we want to try to keep the small dogs not necessarily isolated, but in an area where they're not, egged on by a larger dog. So if we go back to the plan, Brittany, I can show you where I think I'm going to eliminate most of the shrubs on that one side of the ball field.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, to get rid of that. Right up there.
Yeah.
Right, so that space up there, that doesn't necessarily need it. Those are large dogs. So a small dog owner treats, obviously, their dog different than a larger dog. It's really socialization with a small dog, not necessarily running and exercise, but a large dog will utilize. This is a 1 acre site, so it's less than 1 acre, it's like 40,000 square feet. And so it would be 2/3 of that would be the area for a dog to run around. There's also, so Brittany, if you can go back to the other fence, there would be no electricity run to this, although we could. We would use locks, battery operated locks with a key fob system. That's how we track the people who are using the dog park.
Okay.
So you're registered a dog park. I mean, a door park.
If I can just return to the fence for a second, the chain link fence essentially matches the kind of fence used for the backstops at the ball fields?
Correct, it's exactly the same. And if you want an example of a 6-foot fence, we have a 6-foot fence along the beach, right along the walkway behind the small pavilion, going from the small bandstand from the pavilion to the parks building. That's a 6-foot high fence. It has larger posts. These would have the thin 2-inch posts. And so we don't necessarily need shrubbery in front of the fence, except for the consideration of the smaller dogs. That's why I would only need a green hedge at 4 foot high.
Okay, all right, that's very helpful. I think I know everything I need to know in order for us to sort of assign out the work of writing the letter and expect to complete this at our meeting next Wednesday. Does anybody else have questions? Thank you, Mr. Barbera.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time.
Okay, who wants to take the first cut at this? I'll take the first draft. We can't deliberate by email because we have an open meeting obligation, but I can send it out to everybody and we can discuss it at the meeting. I'll have a draft in time for everybody to read it.
Just let me know if you need me.
Okay, that's going to conclude our review of the dog park. And if members of the public wish to be heard on that, we took a vote and we've decided that that is on for public comment at our meeting next Wednesday night at 7:30 in the village courtroom. So if you want to speak on it, please bear in mind that we will limit our consideration of the public comments to our LWRP policies. So we don't review whether there should be a dog park. We review whether it fits within our policies. I understand not every member of the public will know what those are, and we'll gently sort of guide you, but we bear in mind that we stay in our lane. And with that, dog park is done for this evening, and we're going to deal with the private applicant issues. I think we can probably, since we have the harbor master on, and we can probably save him some of his evening too. Let's take 561 Lawn Terrace first, if we could. Any objections?
No.
Okay, 561 Lawn Terrace. The applicant, through some sort of miscommunication, did not appear last time. We said when we spoke about it then that obviously was some kind of miscommunication, but that if they had properly noticed it, we could do it for the public hearing at our scheduled January meeting. Brittany, have they done their notice obligations and gotten this teed up for public comment?
Yep, it was 15 days in advance. They did a sign, they did a mailing notification, and we were in receipt of everything.
Okay, so we can hear the public on 561 Lawn Terrace. It is a marine structure application. When we spoke to the harbor master last, the plans, the materials submitted are inconsistent as to whether it is a 35 or 38 foot extension gangway. That is problematic here because the major issue in our discussions is how far this comes out towards the mooring field and how much that limits navigation in an area. It's a tight part of the harbor. There's a federal navigation line. The harbor master has advised us that typically he considers the navigational need to be 15 to 20 feet from the federal anchorage line. And the plan as proposed provides about 7. We may not approve an application for a marine structure under our policies that creates a navigation hazard under both policies 2 and 6, and I think a few others. So the primary thing that we know in advance we're going to have to address is the space available for other boats to navigate in and out of that mooring area, in and out of that part of the harbor. This can't be so close to that area that it creates a navigation hazard. We also wanted to know last time we spoke about the view shed issue, the size and scale of the pilings, which we think is consistent with other nearby docks. But we want to hear the applicant out on that. And we want to make sure that we understand the qualifications of contractors because the application was thin on that. And several of our policies focus on both the design and construction of marine structures so that they don't become a maintenance or safety hazard within a short period. That's what we knew from last time we needed to talk about. I'm going to hand it off to other commissioners in case someone wants to raise another concern. The applicant is free to listen to us, though they're not up to speak with us now, so that they can get their ducks in a row and make a complete presentation and address our issues when we meet next Wednesday. Cami?
I think that my concern is the same as the last meeting, which is really regarding how far out the dock goes in interference with safe navigation. I think it's kind of hard to even move past that for me. To any other problems, just because we didn't get to hear from them. So, in addition to that, I think one of my other questions is just in regards to the purpose of the pilings. And like why they're there and what's the need. But that's just more of a question.
George?
I'm sorry.
Harbor Master, we'll swing around you in just a second. I just want to make sure that if we already know that we want to ask something, the commissioners get a chance to get it out. George?
I don't think we have anything more or anything new since last time we spoke about that. My feeling on this one is that as a group, we spend more time in reviewing this application than the applicant presenting the application to us.
Jack? Okay, Harbor Master. So you've heard you told us what you think our concerns should be. You've heard what we're thinking about it. What do you have to add?
So just, the pilings are there to hold the dock in place, but in that area, they could use just, moorings, shore anchors and then mushroom anchors off the end of the dock. If you didn't want to have, pilings sticking up there, that is another option.
But that's kind of what I was wondering as to why they're not using the mushroom anchors and choosing to do the pilings.
It's probably, their choice. I mean, pilings are more stable, but they're also more maintenance, especially if they're going to use steel. Those are only, 15-year pilings. So then they're going to have to be replaced in, 15 years, whereas anchors and chains are much more easier to maintain.
That's a good point. And whether something can be maintained in the long run is embodied in policy, certainly in 2 and 6.
Right.
Okay, so we'll expect the applicant I think has really good guidance what we're going to ask about. We try to be transparent here. We're not going to ambush people. We tell you what we're concerned about. So the applicant hopefully will show up ready to discuss that stuff and either provide us enough information to get over our concerns or be prepared to modify the application if necessary to get over some other ones.
Thomas, if I do receive the items, if they listen and have a chance, the cutoff was technically 2 weeks ago, give or take. What would be the cutoff up until the 18th? I know John has to look at it as well, Jeff too. So what is the consensus on timing for that?
Well, it depends what it is. If they've got something that addresses, for example, why they're using pilings instead of mushroom anchors, we can take that fairly late. If they're going to they can change their application as we've said, I think many times. They can change their application as they see fit. It's their application. However, if they're going to make a major change, like if they're going to shorten the gangplank and change the location, which might be necessary for navigation reasons, we can't promise we would hear it as scheduled. If they're going to make a major change to it, we might have to put it on for a different meeting.
Okay.
I don't think we would require them to redo the sign notice and stuff. If people showed up and we had received major changes, we could just tell the people that showed up, this is going to be on for whenever it's going to be on, February or whatever.
Okay.
Excuse me. I would also like to point out that the Army Corps, I know that there is discrepancies with how long the aluminum ramp was going to be, and the Army Corps permitted a 35-foot one. So I imagine that if the applicant changes anything about the ramp or about the dock, that they will have to go back to the Army Corps and to DEC.
Well, it's one of those things. marine structures in, in this area require Army Corps. They might have to go back and get other things, but on the other hand, we have a harbor management plan that requires that has navigational requirements, and so.
I just
Yeah.
want to point out another thing for,
No, that's right. We need the ambiguity between 35 and 38 resolved, but both of those may be moot, because if
Mhm.
35, whether it's 35 or 38, if it doesn't provide enough room for safe navigation of boats on the seaward side of that structure, that's a real problem.
got it.
Okay. Do we
I
have
also have
any?
one more question. At this time, you're only reviewing this application for marine structures, not for LWRP, correct? Or are you doing both at the same time?
We do them both. We haven't really raised any of the LWRP policies because none of those are really in play with this. It's the nature of the work. We understand that there's no completely environmentally non-impact building in the water, but the nature of the work we've seen, pilings or mushroom anchors before, and we've never considered those showstoppers because of environmental damage, especially in frequently navigated parts of the harbor. It just doesn't really implicate a lot of policies. We will talk about those when we get there, but so far we haven't raised any concerns with the LWRP policies, and speaking for myself, I don't expect to. The policies that really provide us we did raise viewshed, which is an LWRP rather than a harbor plan policy. But our major issue here is the concerns with our harbor management policies, because they concern safe navigation. So yeah, the answer is we do both. We just haven't raised very much that's LWRP facing. We've raised the stuff that's harbor plan facing, because those are the ones that are a problem here.
Okay, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Thanks.
Yeah, no, we do both. It's just that there's not a lot that the LWRP policies bring to the table on this. Okay, so unless somebody's got something else, we're closed on 561 Terrace until our meeting. The last one is 129 to 133 Prospect Avenue. This is a 13-unit residential structure in place of existing homes. I don't know how much. Well, it's a fairly complete application from applicants who have appeared before, from an applicant team that has appeared before this commission many times, and so they sort of know it. I'm gonna point out a few things that jumped out to me from the submission. There's nothing concerning. There is commentary in the policy descriptions about the area and the historical character of nearby buildings, but nothing about the buildings that are being removed. It was a notable elision, I thought, given that the descriptions covered a lot of other things very clearly. They didn't say whether they said the buildings weren't listed, but they didn't say whether they were list eligible. I expect I will ask Ms. Motel about that when she appears in front of us. Several policies water volume or quality. 7 significant habitat, 11 few others. They have a full-blown SWIP. We are, as we always do with something that has extensive SWIP consideration, gonna want to have a memo in front of us from Kellard and Sessions to help us figure out what we think of the SWIP. the property itself is fairly flat, but it's also, this is the closest to this courthouse I think we've ever considered an application. This is literally across the street. It's fairly flat. It's next to Hunter Tier across from the library, but not far from that property, Prospect slopes down pretty dramatically first to Mamaroneck Avenue. I'm going to say that it drops 8 feet from the property to Mamaroneck Avenue, maybe 9 or 10 from the uphill side of the property. And from there, again, a steep drop right to the river near the bridge. So it's we have to assume that we have to think about the water in 2 ways. One is the treatment of the water sufficient that we're not allowing the proposed condition to create a problem with flooding for the properties that lie downhill, in serious flooding events. It's the property itself is high, and they will have no flooding problems whatsoever. This is not like units that we've considered that are in the flood hazard area. We just can't allow a condition that will cause problems for downhill properties. And the other is, will the water carry anything with it that will be harmful to the river if it gets there? They are handling water quality as well as water quantity. We're going to want to talk with the advice of our consultants at Kellogg Sessions about how effectively they're doing that. And we're going to want to talk about that in terms of both the final building and also the construction process. This is one of those places where you look and you think, well, if they're going to stockpile soil or building materials, we have to make sure that it's not washing downhill during the construction process, because it's a steep drop from there. We should also think in terms of pervious surface. I looked at, I may have missed the pervious surface calculation. It's probably in there, but I think I missed it. We're going to want to look at change to pervious surface, because they're building a fair amount more on that land than is there now. And that goes into thinking about the water volume and where it goes. There are details about the landscape plan and trees, which other commissioners may have a bunch of questions about. But I think the primary areas of concern are really about the stormwater management. This is it's a steep hillside right next to this one, and we need to think about where the water goes. It would be helpful to the applicant, since they note in response policy 38, premises use public water supply and sewer facility. It would be helpful to know if there are any active wells for potable water, within some reasonable distance of the project. I suspect there are not, because of where it is, because the area is so built up. But it would be helpful to know that, and that's the sort of thing this applicant can probably find in no time flat. And it would be helpful to know that with the existing houses, I don't know the age of those buildings, if there are any contaminants that would pose a particular problem for demolition, so that we would worry that anything in those houses, lead paint or asbestos or something, would wash down that hill and into the river. That's a concern that we should be mindful anytime we're looking at an application that involves work right by the river. We've raised questions in the past where it's right by the riverside about demolition and construction, and how the material from the demolition can be kept out of the river. This is a little farther, obviously, but it's also steep hill. Those are the concerns that I know I have going in. Anyone else? Cami?
Yes, I think one of my concerns, on top of your comment regarding the impervious surface, is I read that they are having the parking lot on the first floor. So my question is going to just be regarding what is their plan for any flooding, especially in, because they're going from 2 residential homes to a, is it 14 unit, 13 unit multifamily building. I just feel like there's going to be a significant difference with the regards to the surface that's there now and afterwards. So
Flooding in this building or downhill of the building?
I would say downhill especially, and then also in regards to the adjacent properties as well, if there's any effect on that.
George?
I think you covered everything and more than I had written down. I quite like the fact that we have the sequence during the construction phase. And from what I understand, in a couple of areas, they said we're going to do this measure as required. And my initial question was, who's going to assess this one? So my assumption at this point is that the inspector or the inspection plan will be assessing this as required on all those points. And something I'd like to get, a positive validation of my assumption.
Yeah, I think the applicant is well advised that we're concerned, about the construction process as much as about the final proposed condition on this one. Jack?
Oh, good.
Okay, all right. I think the applicant has the guidance they're going to need to show up and have a complete discussion about this project meeting on the 18th. With that, we have run our agenda. Unless someone has other business, I think we can adjourn.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Motion to adjourn the work session. Second,
Second.
all in favor? We're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany.
Sorry, LMC TV guy, I overshot. I told. How long? We'll probably get through this and happen. But then Jerry came.